Hello everyone, Professor Thompson here. It is November 7th and I wanted to send hopefully a short video with just a couple key points. The first thing I want to do is let you know that I'm completely done evaluating the first round of presentations in the course. You should have at this point received a grade in Blackboard for presentation number 1. You should be able to go into GoReact and see any comments that I put attached to your presentation. And the beauty of GoReact is that it marks comments into your video, or you can just look at the comments themselves. But you need to go into GoReact and you have to use the website to access those comments. In the email that I sent you today with your actual rubric, which is the grading form that I use, that rubric is attached to the email, but in that email I gave you a set of directions on how you can log into GoReact and see the comments for the video. So you might want to make sure that you're looking at those comments. I do want to apologize for what may seem like a delay for the first round of presentations. I had probably 40 presentations that came in to me, and they just take time, especially the first one, because I want to give you as much feedback and as many comments as possible on this first one to set the stage for your future presentations. So you might not get as much feedback on the next speech, just simply because I'm looking for the improvement or betterment of what I identified in this first speech. So please look at those comments. I would highly recommend some of you going back and reviewing Chapter 10. I put that in my GoReact comments. Structure is so important when it comes to academic public speaking. And if you're not going to follow the formula and the structure that's outlined in the textbook and the formula or structure that's outlined in the requirement sheet, it's going to be reflected in your grades. So, second thing that I wanted to mention was that we still have people who are not adhering to the state of Illinois guidelines, and the 0 grade for the presentation reflects that. I don't know how much more clear I can be. It's in the syllabus, it's on the schedule, it's been in multiple videos, and if you're not going to follow directions, then a 0 is a very easy score to enter. The last thing is with regard to your next speech. Your next deadline is, looks like November 13th, so it's coming up next week. You've got about 6-7 days. The requirement sheet is important for this. I clearly identify what the structure should be. I've identified what I'm expecting in each of the body points. I got an email from a student who asked about those questions. The questions that I've articulated for each of the body points is just a guide for the kind of information that I want. You may not answer every single one of those questions that I have in there, but that's what I'm looking for, right? Body point 1 is the history of the artist, the band. It's why the song was written, the history of the song. You'll transition then, and you need a clear transition, but you'll transition to body point 2, which is a lyrical breakdown, an interpretation of that song. And then you're going to move into body point number 3, which is your personal connection. And again, you're going to want to transition between that lyrical breakdown and your connection. You want to make sure that you are having all the parts of the introduction that I'm asking for and all the parts of the conclusion that I'm looking for. Again, look at Chapter 10 if you're confused on that. The oral source citations, for the most part, were pretty good for students that included them. Again, there's a handout that you can look at for any concerns on that end. I think one of the final things that I would throw out there with regard to kind of the questions on there and the format and all of that stuff is, if there's a question, let me know ahead of time. I also recommend making sure that you load your videos in advance so that you don't have technical problems or technical difficulties. Okay, So as we close out this video, then there was another question that came up. Anyway, I can't even think of what it is, so I'm kind of blanking here at the end of this video, and I apologize. But I do want to, if you're still here, if you haven't closed out the video yet, this is horrible, right? But there was one more thing with regard to your videos and your feedback. Your feedback on your next speech should come a little quicker, so that's good. I'll get those done a little faster. And yeah, I think that might be it for now. I will send out an email if I can think of what that other thing is that I really felt it was something else with regard to the presentation. But I can't think of it now. All right. Looking forward to it. See you soon. Bye.